All right, you guys, today this is going to be such a good one. And this is huge. My first podcast ever. I just moved to Miami. Sorry, we were in the bedroom. I don't have my office set up yet, but we have a very special guest. We have Roberto Michelle, and he is on a huge juice cleanse. You guys may have seen him. He's blowing up everywhere, and he's just absolutely beaming. He's had such good experience. He's lost over 100 pounds. And I can't wait to hear about everything along with you guys. So let's tune in. Let's get into it. Grab a drink, grab a juice, and let's say hello to Roberto. How's it going?
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Hello, Miss Jillian. How are you today?
I am wonderful, but more importantly, how are you?
Let me say this before we start. Welcome to Miami. Welcome to the USA. I know Canada is losing somebody special, but we are happy to have you here. And let me tell you that your channel has been the background noise, the music, the background to everything that I have been doing. You are such an inspiration, and I appreciate everything you do because your interviews, you cater to everybody, by the way. I'm just trying to give you your flowers by now. There's not a race, there's not a gender. You give the message just like it is, and you stay focused on your message, on your health. That's pretty amazing. I love you. I love your channel. Keep going.
I love you back. Thank you. You gave me goosebumps. That's so sweet. And you are on, I think, day 173. So almost 6 months. Some people might think this is absolutely insane. So are you drinking only juice? And why did you embark on this journey?
Well, to give you like a little chronological history of my health and why I started. So pretty much when COVID first started, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I was prescribed a CPAP machine. I was over 315 pounds at that time. So I'm sure your audience is very familiar with the CPAP machine. It's a machine that kind of like revive you every time you stop breathing. In my case, I was stopping 90 to 120 times a night. So pretty much almost every night, I almost died, if you want to put it that way. So they prescribed me a CPAP machine, and I was told to sleep with this thing. And of course, 2 months down the line, I was trying to, but for some reason, I couldn't get used to it. And I told my doctor, like, hey, listen, this is uncomfortable. And she said to me that, hey, this can save your life. You don't want to sleep without it. So long story short, I was like, hey, whatever I got to do to sleep without this thing, just let me know. She said, you diabetic, you overweight, you can lose the weight. There's two choices. I can put you on medication, or you can change your life and, change your life pretty much. So you don't have to be diabetic. I'm like, okay, I'll take the second option. I don't need no medication. I don't need the CPAP machine. So I was willing to try anything. At that time, I don't know if you know, my brother is Paul's Law. He's on Instagram. He's a big raw food guy. So I've been around the raw food movement for the last 6 years. That's all he consumed, raw food. So he was doing a 40-day fast. And, at that time, I didn't believe in none of that stuff. He was like, hey, I'm about to do a 40-day water fast. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I didn't say that to him, but in my head, I'm thinking like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But every week I would check on him. I'm like, hey, how's he going? It was like, oh, week 1, 7 days, going well. I'm like, 7 days, okay. Week 2, 14 days, oh, doing well. Week 3, 21 days. By the time I saw him on day 28, I'm like, yo, you mean to tell me you didn't eat nothing? It was like just water. And I'm like, I'm about to start tomorrow. And then I embarked on a water fast. So by the time he finished his, I struggled when I got to day 37. I lost 65 pounds. I was happy. So from 315 to 65, of course, I look amazing. I took pictures. People like, congratulations. And before you know it, I went back to all the drinking, smoking, whatever the bad habits that got me there in the first place. So long story short, I gained the weight back. And now the last recent picture, I worked for a school district in my town. I was an attendance officer, and I did an event for the kids, and I took a picture. I looked at the picture for the first time in my life, Miss Berry. I was disgusted with myself, and I love myself. I was disgusted. I looked at the picture. I was like, no, this can't be it. I got to change. And then now I'm looking into things to do again. And I put it on my vision board that I would do a prayer and fast for 40 days. That's how I got started.
No way. Wow, what an experience. And then so you just decided I'm starting this juice fast. Like, was there somebody in particular with like the juicing that inspired you?
The actual juicing, I got to tell you, throughout the whole water fast, I started watching your channel. So I got into people that's doing all types of diet, as you're the presenter, so you know. So I don't think you have one video on your channel that I haven't seen. So some of them twice. So I watched the whole thing because I felt like I had to keep my mind sharp and I had to keep my eyes on people that are doing the same thing. So I've seen a lot of people who did the 30 days, people who do 60 days. That's the gentleman you have that do 150 days. So I'm like, okay, if this works for these guys, I should be able to do it. So that's how I think about, okay, water fasting was brutal. I should give it a try for the juice fast. But your channel literally was the main inspiration as far as that. So that's how I got started.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one thing I haven't done. I've interviewed a lot of people who have had like big transformations or really enjoyed water fasting. That's something I've never done. But how would you say it compares? And I'm guessing that the juice fasting experience is a lot superior, a lot better for you, right?
Was superior as far as how you feel. Water fast is kind of like it's almost like nothing. You don't get no nutrient, you don't get no taste, you don't all the feelings that we get as human beings. We don't get that with water fasting. But juice fasting, you still get the nutrient, you still get the flavor. So there's a little bit of enjoyment, and you feel a little fulfilled, even if you don't chew. But it's still like the feeling as far as having food is still there. But water fasting, you don't even get the taste. I mean, we eat for taste. We don't even get that with the water.
No,
So
I feel
that's the
like,
big difference.
yeah, I feel like this is just so enjoyable, such an amazing experience. And I know some people
Cheers,
say,
cheers.
well, when you water fast, they say it's like a more rapid healing. Did you notice a difference with that, with the water fasting versus the juice fasting, or no?
Well, I enjoyed the juice fasting much better. The water fasting to me was more brutal. It's always like I was thinking about food. It's almost like a struggle. But once you go past the first 2 weeks with either fast, it's kind of like you lose the craving a little bit. So you stop thinking about food. Now it becomes like more spiritual, more social because you're under pressure, especially when people find out that you're doing this can be radical. So a lot of people are not really too comfortable. So the pressure itself, most of the time, especially with this juice fast, is not necessarily like you versus you because you already made up your mind that you're doing this. But
Mm-hmm.
like I'm at my mother's house right now, she's begging me to eat every day. So now I'm just waiting for her to get tired before I'm like, when you get tired of asking me, I'm gonna start eating.
So your
But
mom, like your mom and people around you, they must notice a massive change in you. Like, do they know? They obviously do, like, right? Like physically and mentally, are people around you noticing changes? Are they saying you're crazy? Like, what's the feedback you're getting from people around you?
before I say that, I have to tell you that I have a nice support team from the people online. It's a few people that don't support that decision, but as far as my wife, my kids, my mother, they support me. If you see the videos, you see my children screaming juices. So this is like a family. I have a huge support system. My support system is strong as far as that. But they're coming from a different place. I don't take it when they say eat. I don't take it from a place of hate or from a place like they want me to fail what I'm doing. I look at it like, okay, they really love me. They don't want me to fail because you understand like fasting is something that not a lot of people are not used to it. But me, thank God, I watch the channel. I watch a lot of people that do it. So I went into it with a level of fear that these people don't share. So that's pretty much where it's coming from. But my
Yeah,
support system is kind of strong.
good. And so, how have the health problems been? Like the health problems you were dealing with before, did they all clear up? And how has the mental health been? I'm curious because I know a lot of people like when I juice cleansed for 37 days, I never felt happier or better in my whole life. Has that been the experience for you? Or like, how has your happiness been? Or like, were you always beaming and happy like this before?
I'm on high. If I knew that I would be that happy, I would have started 20, 30 years ago. Honestly, if I knew, if I knew that juices, vegetables and juices can do that for me, I would have done this every year. If not, I probably can live the rest of my life in this. Honestly, right now, the only thing that makes me want to eat is the societal aspect of it, the familial aspect. As far as your family, you go out to dinner, and I got to be the outcast. That's the only aspect. But as far as the way I feel, I have never felt better in my life. And that's why I started preaching about it. I call it the gospel of juice, the juice ministry, because it's kind of like I find something that works for me and it makes me feel happy. And I am a living testimony of that. And I want to share it with other people. So literally, juice to me is a life savior. When you speak about mental health, to me, I'm not saying it can solve everything, but as far as the way I feel mentally in my energy level, juice is it.
Wow, I love it. So inspiring. And
It
with your health problems, is have things reversed?
Oh
Like,
yes, with the health problem, I just came from the doctor today. I did the test about 2 months ago. He went on vacation. I didn't have a time to go and read it. So as far as that, my glucose went down. The last time I checked it, which I post everything by the way on my social platforms. Every time I go see a doctor, I post everything. Once I go see my doctor, the last time it was at 171 for my glucose. This time it's at 88. So the diabetes is pretty much still around, but he told me we're gonna check again in 3 months. So my liver is doing great. Everything is doing good. But he prescribed me B12, which I noticed most of the people who do raw vegan and juice fast, they always got a B12 problem. So I'm assuming this is not a big thing, but I did take the prescription and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna put the whole results on my page like I always do. I post a paper, I even film him. He allows me to film him, and I'm gonna post everything as far as the finding. But I would say as far as the diabetes, which is what I was worried about the most, it went down a little bit, but not as much as I expected. But the most important thing, my weight went down. I do not need a CPAP machines. My wife, my children haven't heard me snore. And of course, I came from a size 40, 42, and today I'm wearing size small when it comes to shirt, and my pants is size 30, 32. And when I tell you, it may sound like I'm bragging, and yes, I am. I'm feeling myself. You can't tell me nothing. I love it.
I love it. I love you. You're so awesome. And that's such a huge accomplishment. And who knows the health problems that you're avoiding by doing this. And if you're able to keep it off, because I remember I interviewed Lou Corona and a few other people who say like obesity, if you're like over 30% of, extra fat on your body, it's dangerous. It's highly dangerous. So think like the weight you were carrying around, how dangerous that could have been for things, right? So,
And I watched that interview, and the goal is pretty much to go raw as soon as I break the fast. That's why if you probably noticed that I changed my name from Roberto R.O. to R.A.W. because I was thinking, how am I going to keep this off? And I watch all the raw foodies. I watched my brother eating raw for the last 6 years, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to go raw. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but if I can do 6 months on juice, I definitely can eat raw food.
And you can do anything. If you can do 6 months on juice, you can do anything. You can put your mind to anything.
That's the thing about the juice. I want to tell people that it's not just about drinking juice. This is about building wills. Think about it. If you can make up your mind and you say you want to do something and then you actually do it. In my case, my goal was to lose 50 pounds. I was playing basketball with my son and I was not breathing right. And I was training him for AAU ball. And I was like, you know what? Give me a couple months. I'm gonna go lose 30, 50 pounds, and I will come back. So imagine 30 to 50 pounds. And now my original goals was 40 days. Now I'm at 170, 73 days. And my original weight loss journey was supposed to be 30 to 50. I'm at 102 right now. So I surpassed what I wanted to do. But I wanted to tell people this is the most joy that I find during this fast that I like to talk about a lot is the fact that it helped me fix my will. Because think about it this way. A lot of people are saying, man, where do I find the will to do this, Toto? Like, they call me Toto online. Where do I find the will to do this? And I'm like, you have to fix your will because once you make up your mind, think about it this way. I have been to festivals. I have been to clubs. I have been to parties. I have been to family reunions. I have been to barbecue, and I did not eat. So that means I made up my mind. Now, a lot of people say this is strong will, but I think for the people who cannot make up their mind, it's a lot of respect for yourself. What do I mean by that? If you say, hey, Jillian, you live in Florida. I'm going to go see you today. Miss Berry, I'm going to go see you. I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going south, and I live in New Jersey right now. And I'm going to catch the Greyhound, the bus, the train, however to get there. My mind is made up. I'm going to Florida. Now, if I get to the airport, to the train station, and somebody pull up in a Rolls Royce and say, hey, Roberto, let's go to Boston. Now, if I go to Boston, that means my mind was not made up. You understand the analogy, right? So that means if you say, hey, I'm going to juice fast, I'm going to change my life, and the barbecue show up, the big burger show up, the parties show up, the family reunions show up, and then you change your mind, that means your mind was not made up in the first place. So that means you don't have a food problem. You have a will problem. You cannot make up your mind. Because if your mind is made up, your goal is to go to Florida to meet Miss Berry. That's your goal. So if Rolls Royce, a diamond car pulled up and say, hey, we're going to Boston, you're not going to Boston. Stay focused here. So for the people who say, I want to lose weight, I want to do what you do, where do you find the will? Hey, make up your mind. So that means when the burgers show up, listen, man, I'm fasting. And then that's it. Now, I'm not saying this to say this is an easy thing. I can't tell you that because there are days when I wake up, I was like, oh my God. But you know what I do? One more day. One more day.
Yeah, you're like, I could break
One
it
more day.
tomorrow, right? I could break it tomorrow.
One more day. Every
And then
night,
you
the
probably
little
wake
signs that
up
I
in that
make.
morning, right? You wait if you say one more day, because I've been on a juice cleanse before, and I'm like, oh, if I want to
Mhm.
break it, then I'm like, let me give it till tomorrow. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, I feel so good, right?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Every time I drink my juice, I wake up, I make the juice. I get and also the online support, the people who text me and write me and say you inspire me so much. That keeps me going. That keeps me going. And one more day is the key. And also, I don't think people should start with a number in mind, saying I want to do this thing. No, you should just go because I a lot of people that want to do what I do. There is a lady, her name is Nina Bolton. She follows me and she say, yo, you inspire me. I want to start. She lasts 103 days after me. She quit actually yesterday. Well, she didn't quit. She just finished because she wanted to do 90 days. She did 103. She lost over 65 pounds. So I have people who try to follow me and be successful at what they do. But I always tell them like, okay, this is a contract that you sign with yourself. Like you have to respect yourself. Okay. If you say that I'm going to do something, how come when we go to work, if you have a boss, like for example, you say, hey, Roberto, we're going to meet today at 5 o'clock. Yo, that's the time. And I did everything. I scheduled my whole life around that time that we agree on because that's the time. So how come when people sign a contract with themselves, they feel like just because there is no repercussion, they can just break the contract?
True. And that's the most
So
important
it's
contract we can do, right? In our relationship with ourselves. So yeah, good point.
exactly. It's you. Respect yourself. You say you love yourself, right? Okay. Well, you don't like yourself. You feel like you're sick, you're overweight, and you want to change that. So if a juice fast, a water fast, a raw food diet, some exercise is what it takes. Show yourself some love. You owe it to yourself. You deserve this. You deserve it. And the happiness that I feel every day throughout this whole juice fast, I just couldn't wait to share it with people. And people was like, by the time I reached day 50, somebody was like, oh, Miss Berry should interview you. I was like, send a message to her.
No, I'm
And then
happy to.
that's
When I
how
right when I
people
saw
have,
you online, I was like, I gotta have this guy on. So would you say
yeah.
this has been a great like lesson or experience in self-love and in self-confidence? Like, do you feel more confident because you've stuck to this? And do you feel better in your skin now with this whole experience, like mentally, physically than before?
Let's start with the second part first. Do I feel better in my skin now? Man, listen, I'm wearing size 30, 32 pants. I used to go to Armani all the time. Last time I went, I found a double XL shirt. It didn't fit me. My belly was poking out of it. I bought it anyway because I knew I was going to lose weight. And now that double X, I can't wear it anymore. So you asking me how do I feel physically? Physically, I'm feeling the best since high school. And I'm not telling you my age, but I graduated high school in 1999. So you do the math, okay? You do the math. 1999, I graduated high school at 190 pounds. This morning I wake up, I'm at 175. So yes, I do feel better. All the European clothes, the fashion I couldn't fit, I'm fitting those clothes now. And as far as me thinking whether I can do anything, I literally feel like I can do anything. I done went back to school. Everything I put on my vision board is coming true, including you interviewing me.
I love it. Yeah, I was gonna ask because
Including you interviewing me. When people say, "Oh, she's gonna call you," she's gonna call you. I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, she's gonna call you because this guy did this, and she interviewed him. She's gonna call you. I was like, it's been my goal to be on your channel because I consume so much of your content. I'm like, okay, I might as well be on this thing because I love it so much.
yeah, and I'll okay. I'll back to this in one sec, but before I forget to ask, because you've consumed so much of the content. So for somebody watching, has there been one video on the channel that's just been like, wow, that was my favorite, or something that I can link below for people? Like something that's just like
I
was your
forgot this
number one.
gentleman's name, but he has an accent. He has an accent, but he's been eating raw food for like 20 something years. I think he's from New York. He got he's from Jamaica.
Scott Bernhard, or no?
Yes, he's from
Okay.
Jamaica.
Yeah, I interviewed him in New York. He is incredible.
Yes,
So I'll put his podcast down
yes.
below. And I want to ask you, so you were talking about your vision board. I know a lot of people I interview or who do these juice fest experiences, you get really clear-headed, right? And you go into it for certain reasons like health or feeling good, and then you realize just the spiritual aspect, the clear-headed aspect, like you almost feel like you're in a walking meditation. And I interview so many people that say they manifest so much easier. They accomplish so much more because they're so clear-headed. Has that been the case for you? Are there things you've done on this juice
That's
fast?
exactly
Has your life changed on this juice fast? In what ways?
my life has changed so much. On my vision board, I wanted to have a raise at my job. For the people who don't know, I work as an enrollment specialist. So I started from attendance officer, from security. So my life has been jumping as far as, but it got to a point where it got stuck. And I speak 4 languages, including Spanish, French, and I'm from Haiti for the people who's watching. ��𝒗𝒆. So, I speak the languages, but I'm always in positions to help people as far as translation. So this year, I finally made the leap as far as what I wanted to do to work in that space. So it happens during that juice fast. So technically, as far as doing what I really wanted to do, I work literally on the same block that I leave. Literally, I don't have to drive, and I can go pick up my kids. My kids go in the same school district that I work. And as far as my money, of course, go up, and I was able to go back to school that I wanted to go and accomplish. And I'm doing that, and I'm doing it well, like A's and B's in all my classes. And I have time, and I'm a family man. I have 3 children. I have 14, 7, and 3. So everything that a man is supposed to do as far as the daily grind, I do all that with the juice fast and more, including my schooling, including all the videos that I make for my online content. So as far as energy, as far as manifesting things, including me speaking with you right now, because this is a dream come true. Like if you told me it could have happened a few months ago, I probably was doubtful. But during the fast, I'm not that fool anymore. I'm thinking like, yo, I can do anything right now. To the point where I wrote like 4 books. The only reason I don't release them, during the fast. I wrote one about fasting. The only reason I don't release it, and I will put it in the air because the idea doesn't have to be mine. I just want it to be out there. I associated fasting with manifesting. Because when you think about it, right, when you think about it in the Bible, in the Quran, when you think about Gandhi, when you think about Martin Luther King, when you think about Dick Gregory, everybody that's trying to manifest something always do it on an empty stomach. I want to prove to people that there is a deep connection in manifesting something with fasting. Until I can't do that, because I feel like the other information is out there. What it does physically, how good it is for your health. But I feel like I haven't read a book that make the connection that, because somebody online said it. I watch it in plenty of videos. They say when you fast, it's like you pray and you cut in front of the line to get to God first. That's what I want to be able to prove. Like when you fasting on an empty stomach, it's a major sacrifice, and that gets you to your goal much faster. Now, is there a difference between fasting and starvation? It's not for me to tell, because most people think I'm starving myself. But I think when you mix it with breathing exercise, yoga, and the spiritual aspect of it, it's no longer starvation, because you can be nourished from other sources. So once I associate the fact that fasting is way deeper than just drinking juice or not consuming. But when you're willing to use that energy to do something else, it's much better.
And you feel nourished. You feel nourished, right? You feel good, right? You don't feel like, have you had any moments where you're like, oh, maybe this is dangerous, I don't feel good? Like you feel good, right?
I have moments of weakness, but I never get to the point where I think about like, oh, this something is gonna happen to me, because I watch so many videos of people that's done it before me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not coming from a place of fear to the point where I'm thinking, okay, something is gonna happen to me. I don't think like that. I go at it from a positive state of mind. I'm like, oh, this guy's done 150 days. Well, so can I. He's just like when my brother did the water fast. I was thinking, okay, I grew up with this guy. We slept on the same bed till we was 15 years old. If he can do 40 days on water, so can I. So can I. And that alone, that's why I say your channel has been my muse, because I watch so many people who's done it. Like I'm in it with no fear. Even when I go past 150 days, I met a guy who did 170 days. Shout out to Ian. Like, he interviewed me. He was the first one to call me. He met me on day 50, and he was like, yo, you're doing amazing. And I met so many people who reached out to me, and I did so much. Like the Juice Fast have given me a whole community of people, including yourself. So those are the people that I talk to almost every day now, whether through text, those are the conversations that we have, and it created a whole new reality for me.
Wow. And would you say it's been one of the best experiences of your entire life? So
far. I can't think, besides the birth of my children, I can't think of anything that I would put above that.
Wow.
I can't think of anything. As far as the way I feel, the joy that I find, as far as what I'm accomplishing, and the way that I see the future. Because I was having a conversation with my mother today. I think life is all about hope. when you have hope, you actually live longer because you have something to look forward to. So as far as me, I'm thinking this is one of the best experience because I have the clarity of mind. When I think of something for my future, I can actually see it and visualize it and stay focused on it and actually get to it. It's not like I live in a dream world where I think about it and then I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do it. I actually think it and I'm willing to pursue it to go for it.
I feel like you're unstoppable. I feel like you will be raw too. I feel like you're just getting started. Like that's the vibe I'm picking up.
Raw has already started. I changed the name from RAWBERTO. So once I changed that name, I was thinking, what am I gonna do to keep up with this? And I think raw is the key. So of course we're gonna do this interview again, but it's gonna be about raw food because I'm definitely going raw. I will have more testimony for you.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe for that because I can't wait to bring you back for that. And you haven't had like any cheat days. You've done this whole thing just all the way through.
No, I told you it's about self-respect. It's the contract that I signed with myself. I love myself too much to cheat on myself. I would not do that. And I try to expose myself to the people and I put myself on social media. I expose when I go to the doctor, I expose my weight. I take my shirt off. Like I've lost the weight in front of everybody.
What's your doctor saying? Your doctor must be like, wow, what's your doctor saying?
Well, we from Haiti, so I have a Haitian doctor now. So when I told him, I was thinking he was going to say, hey, you know, he was like, well, why can't everybody do what you do? And he complimented me on my will. And I was shocked because I was thinking like he was going to, run after me. Even when I lost the weight, when I got down to 190, and I was like, should I lose some more? And he gave me the index. He was like, yeah, you still can lose this and that portion. So my support system has been great. Of course, I meet the people online who talks about the differences fasting, but this is technicality because they don't want to call it a juice fast because they say fasting is staying away from everything. I get it. But for the sake of conversation, I know what fasting means. And I joined a fasting group online. I didn't know they were doing dry fasting. So I was posting my little stuff on there. When I got under attack, I'm like, hey, listen, guys, I respect
Oh, you joined a dry fasting group? You thought it was just a fasting
group? I'm telling you,
man,
I got on there, man. They kicked me out with the swiftness. Man,
they got on me. That's hilarious. So I guess you got out of there, right?
They weren't playing. They protect this with their lives. They say, hey, this is not fasting. Don't call it that. And every day I received 2-3 messages. I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect your group. I get it. And I stopped posting there, but I understand it. I get it. I don't want to disrespect anybody. I know what fasting means, but for the sake of conversation, this is what the internet has been calling it, juice fast, and I call it that, but I know what they mean.
Yeah, we can call it a cleanse. I mean, so what's that juice you're drinking? What's your protocol? How much are you drinking every day? Like all the details we'd love.
Okay. This is watermelon, lemons, and lime. This is one of my all-time favorite, but because of diabetes, I know watermelon is not so heavy, but it's good on electrolyte. This is one of the most energetic drinks that I've ever had, by the way. I sleep 4 hours when I drink this.
Wow,
now,
that's
I'm not
incredible.
saying like I sleep 4 hours.
Well, that's incredible. You're saying you only need, you're saying you just need 4 hours sleep, right? Versus before, I bet on standard American diet.
When I drink this particular one. When I drink this particular combination with this watermelon, lime, and lemon, I need 4 hours. I wake up automatically. My second favorite, I think you guys call it the lemon ginger blast. I call it the yaki juice because he makes it popular in the Black community. So it's pretty much the celery, the pineapple, the ginger, the lemon, and sometimes some people put cucumbers in there. But I had to slow down on the pineapple because of my diabetic issues. So I removed the pineapple. I put just the green apples in there just to reduce the sugar. So those are the 2 top juices. And now, how many ounces do I drink a day? The 2 jars that I present in my videos every day, they 70 ounce a piece. And I present that. So technically I drink over 150 ounces, 120 ounces, 28 ounces is a gallon. So it's over a gallon a day. But that's give and take because sometimes I drink less. But after 5 p.m., I don't drink any more juice. If I'm thirsty, I drink water.
Interesting. Okay. And what juicer are you using? Did you start with a certain juicer and then you upgraded and you make all your juices fresh, right? Because I know some people wonder, can I buy them at the store pre-made? Is it the same thing? So what are your thoughts on that?
I have a couple of days when I go to AAU basketball, if I don't bring a juicer where I consume the store-bought juices. But I would advise everybody to fall in love with the process. But I know everybody's life is different. I'm not the type of person that's saying you gotta, because I understand all the fingers are on the same length. We coming from different health, different household. The situation is different for all of us. Me, I'm lucky enough to do it every single day fresh. I don't stash it. I don't batch it. Every day I wake up, I make my juice. 5 a.m., 5:30, I'm up. 6 o'clock, I'm making juice. That's me. So now I make my juices. You asked me about the juicer. I didn't want to say the name of the juicer because I know you're a Nama girl, but I need a Nama in my life.
You don't have an Nama?
Unless you allow me to say the name of the juicer that I use.
Of course.
Okay, I'll say it. So the juicer that I use is actually, I had it since 2003.
Yeah.
And you remember 𒔂𝒂𝒗𝒆?
Wow. Well, you know what? I don't really, but I've heard so many people talk about 𒔂𝒂💗, and 𒔂�💗 kind of started juicing, right? People say? Yeah.
He's the guy that introduced me to juicing. He was an older white guy that used to have an infomercial selling juicers and promote juice. So he died at like 91 or 93 years old. So he has his own brand of juicer that he was selling. The first one I think was called the 𒔂�💗 Power Juicer. So when I was seeing that infomercial, and I remember we bought two of them. We gave one to our in-laws and we kept the other one. So the other one I kept it, but I really never got into it. I really never got into it, except when I decided to juice fast. I kind of like pull it out, dust it off, and then that's how I started. So technically, I have the oldest juicer in the game right now. I'm talking about
Well,
older than
that's
my
pretty
kids.
cool. You've been using a juicer that's like 20 years old. That's
Literally.
good. Well, it got you juicing and it's got you this far. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I went to my friend Dr. Patterson. She has a Nama. I used it and I posted it. I loved it and I wanted. And my brother Paul, he has a Nama. I used it. I loved it. So I think the next goal for the people, hey, Nama, if
Yeah,
you're
I
watching.
should talk to Nama. Nama's the best. If you guys want a Nama, I'll put a code down below. I have to look up the one you use. I'll put a code down below. You guys can save 10%. It's the best savings out there. The machine's amazing, but I have to look up your machine.
The Nama, that's the best I've ever used. I like it. It doesn't make a mess. I'm not trying to put down the one I use because it got the job done. It got
the job done.
173 days.
People have to do what gets the job done. And if people can't afford like a good juicer, you use what you have. Ask somebody if you can borrow one because a lot of people buy them and they don't even use them. They're sitting around collecting dust. Or like not Namas though. Those are hard to get secondhand because everybody uses those. But like when I first started, I got one at a garage sale. Like just get into juicing.
Yes.
It makes you feel good. Even if you don't want to do a juice cleanse, like even just making a green juice a day makes a big difference. And I know a lot of people think like, oh, juicing is way too expensive. I'm going to break the bank. I can't even, it's so expensive. So has that been the case for you? Like, if you don't mind sharing, can you share how much it's cost you and any budgeting tips or anything from people out there who want to do this, but think it's just going to be insane expensive?
Let me run after the people who say it's too expensive. Stop it. Stop it. First of all, how much does your health cost? That's the question. How much does your health cost? That's the people who don't have respect for themselves. The people who are wearing Gucci belts, expensive shoes, and who don't think their bodies are important. Those are the only people who ever say that juicing is too expensive. Now that I'm done beating you up, let me tell you how much money I spent. Now, a watermelon, I drink the seeded watermelon. I live in New Jersey. I find a whole watermelon for $8.99 and the whole one give me over a gallon. So $8.99, by the time you add lemon, you spend the time, let's just say that's less than $10 for a day of juice. Now that's the cheapest that I've ever spent. The most I've ever spent was $25 because there's one time I couldn't find one from Wegmans. I had to go somewhere else. The guy charged me $25. I'm not gonna say your name, but you charged me $25 for a watermelon. I needed it, so I paid for it. So that's the most. But an average on the daily, I would spend from $10 to $15. And I'm talking about for a whole day of juice. So this is not bad. And a lot of times I go organic. I know that's probably going to be the next piece of the questions. People are going to say, do I do organic? I do both. When I'm doing my watermelon, my lemons, I like my stuff organic. The only thing I will not buy that's not organic is my celery because I was told it absorbs too much of the pesticide. So I make sure that I get it from Whole Foods. I hope they are operating in good faith. They say it's organic, I believe them. And sometimes I go to Wegmans. So my top 3-4 stores is Whole Foods, is Trader Joe's, Wegmans, and ShopRite. So that's what I've been using for the last, unless I'm traveling, then I have to do what I have to do.
Okay. And where do you think you were headed if you didn't do this juice cleanse? Like, where do you think you were going if you didn't do this?
I don't want to think about it, but it's deeper than health. I think as far as the mental part of it was gonna deteriorate at certain points. And I don't even want to talk about it because a lot of people I talk to, when I speak to them, I don't think the problem is the health. Like I say, it's always the mind, it's always the will. So I think mentally I was gonna go head somewhere that I probably wouldn't like. Because like I told you, the first time in my life that I ever looked at a picture of me, and I've been big for a minute, and I say, I hate this, I don't like it. So I don't think you can do that for too long. And that's where I think I was heading. I was heading to the part where I wake up every day. I don't like what I wear. I don't like what I look like. So mentally, that's where I was heading. And of course, my body was going to look bad. I'm older. I'm in my 40s. And come on now, you know, sexually, you're not performing the best when you at certain weight. I don't care what no guys is saying. I posted the picture of my before and after. And somebody say, I like the fat guy better. That was hilarious, by the way, whoever you are. They say, I like the fat guy better. I started laughing because I was like, I did not like the fat guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I enjoyed the skinny guy much better.
Yeah, it's funny. I see a lot of people do these cleanses and like really fall in love with themselves, you know?
I always loved myself, but now it magnified 10 times more. It magnified. And you love other people more too, because you become a little bit more sensitive to everybody else's situation. And when you love yourself, you have no choice. You can't be an a-hole if you love yourself because you understand the human experience a little more. And I started to see myself. I think the most spiritual part is me seeing myself in other people, or me feeling other people. So although I'm into myself, I want to lose weight, I'm feeling myself, I talk about myself, I love myself, but there's a part of me when I look at you, when I look at another person, it's like I share an experience with you. So I'm more empathetic, I'm more sympathetic, I'm more connected, I'm more aware, my clarity is impeccable, my vision as far as what I want for myself. So all the questions I noticed that you ask people, it's all for the better. It's all for the better. And my relationship with everything and everybody around me is getting better. And I'll tell you one more thing that's gotten better. I cut the fat and go straight to the meat. What do I mean by that? I know we're talking about juice. This is the wrong analogy. I don't have time for anything that's not contributing to my well-being. And that's what I learned throughout this whole fast, because when you on an empty stomach, you only have energy for the things that matters. You only, like anybody who try fasting, who gets short with people, who get upset, it's a simple thing. It's just like you have that much energy and now you only want to focus it on the things that really matters to you. Well, listen, your job don't matter, you're going to end up quitting your job, because if it don't matter, it don't matter. But does your wife matter? Does your kids matter? Does your health matter? And then you're going to focus that energy into the things that matter the most to you. So by fasting is going to help you focus. Anything that don't matter, it's automatically fasting. It's automatically going to push it to the side because your energy is narrow, it's small. You don't have time for no nonsense. Your work is going to be primary. Your family is going to be primary. Your health is going to be primary. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say, what happened to you? Why you wasn't a so-and-so? Well, I don't have time for this. I'm fasting. Okay, I have a family.
So true.
Yeah, I'm drinking juice. Like, it's just the most important part of it is that you cut straight to the point. And depends on your level of wisdom, you might do that in a rude or weird way. But if you're nice, you might do that very smoothly. It's kind of like, okay, I'm focused. I'm just focused. So a lot of people say, hey, well, bro, Toto, I want you to coach me. I'm already focused on I'm trying to heal myself. I don't have time to heal you right now. So I'm focused. Let me finish with myself and then get back in touch with me in 6 months, and then we'll work. If I can work, we'll work. But for the moment, I'm stick myself. I'm focused on myself, and I'm taking care of that.
Yeah. And what would you say has been the biggest surprise of all of this?
The biggest surprise, believe it or not, this is the part, the TMI part. I know you do it on your show. That anybody who don't want to listen to it, this is the part where we talk ish. So if you don't want to listen to any sensitive information, this is the time for you to log off. My biggest surprise is the fact that I haven't seen any mucoid plaques yet.
Wow.
173 days. I look for it every day since day one.
So maybe you don't have any, right?
I, how come though? I've been consuming nonsense for the last 40 some years.
Have you got anything out strange that you've seen or like any parasites? And are you still having bowel
Strange.
movements?
Oh, every day, every
Every
day.
day,
Not
still
the
bowel
mean,
movements. Wow.
every day. Not the mean one. When I first started, it was the mean, heavy one. But now it's just every day, once a day. The first thing I do when I wake up, by the way, as soon as I say my prayer, I go straight to the throne and just do what I do every single day. Every day, I've never missed a day. Never missed a day. And I'm waiting. I looked every day. I inspect.
Wow.
I'm
And
like I'm like inspecting. I got the magnifying glasses looking. I've seen on day I think 113. I've seen like a little clearish, jellyish, little fluid. I don't know what it was, but the mucoid plaques that I have been seeing online, I don't think that's what this is. I haven't seen one.
interesting. And you've done a long time now, like six
And I
months,
was kind
right?
of waiting for it. I think that's what keeps me going because I was like, I gotta see it, I gotta see it, I gotta see it. Every day I check, nope,
I'm
nope.
surprised you haven't seen anything super crazy. And you know what? Like I come across a lot of people, believe it or not, who are like, I want to do a juice cleanse or I'd be interested in that, but there's no way because I'd have to go to the bathroom too much. Like people think like they don't want to have the extra bathroom trips or like they can't manage with their job with the extra bathroom trips. So that hasn't interfered with your life at all. It's not a make or break, obviously, right? Because you've made it this far.
No, I work every day and I love my job. My fasting never interfere whether it's bathroom breaks or never me going there or not going there because I'm tired, because I don't feel it. I work with the same energy. And people who came like 6 months ago or 3 months ago, when they came back, they saw me, they had to hear my voice to know that it was me. Some of them be like, yo, that's you, Mr. Michelle, that's you, Mr. Michelle. And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And I started laughing because this lady was like, I had to stay here for 5 minutes looking at you, wondering if this is you, because that's 100-pound difference. That's a whole person. That's
It's
a whole
crazy.
person.
It's a lot, right? It is. It's a whole person.
Yes,
It is. It's crazy actually. Cause I'm like
I love
120.
it.
It's almost me because I'm 120 something, right? So 100.
It's you because I lost 105 pounds. It's you.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
crazy.
much you. So I lost the whole person. But
Wow.
I love it. I love every second of it. I don't even want to stop. The only reason why I'm stopping is from familial and societal pressure because I do enjoy spending time with my family. I do pray with them before meals and I gotta watch them eat while I drink juice. I go out with them, I watch
Yeah.
them eat. That part of it is the only reason why I'm stopping because I have the energy. Like I say, most of the time I would sleep 5 hours. I will go to sleep at 11, 5 o'clock, 5:30. I am up every day. When I drink this one, that's 5 hours, which is the watermelon, seeded watermelon, limes, and lemons. That's my favorite. And I put a little bit of vanilla extract on there. Don't tell nobody
So
for the
how did
people who's
this
asking.
compare to before your sleep? So I'm gonna guess on the standard because you have to tell us too how you're eating before. I can't remember if you said, but how did the sleep compare before? I'm gonna guess you probably felt like you needed double that, right? Before.
Well, let's talk about the food before. The food was the SAD diet mixed with the HAD diet. Now you might ask yourself, what is the HAD diet? That's the Haitian American diet. Of course, man. For the people who are from Haiti, you got the griot, you got the pickles, you got the black rice, you got the chicken, you got the macaroni. Like the food is amazing. So I was on that. And of course, my other half of the family is American. I was the regular, standard American diet. So I was eating pretty much everything that you can think of, everything. And I was overdoing it. So I jumped straight from that. I remember on the 24th of February when I decided to embark on the fast, I had like the biggest breakfast. I had calamari for lunch. Like I ate for 5 people the day before the fast.
Yeah.
I literally ate for 5 people. And how was my sleep? I'm coming from, of course, diabetes. I'm coming from about 280 pounds and I'm snoring at night.
Mm.
Now, when I ask my wife and my kids, I haven't snored and I sleep like in a position where it's just simple. Like I feel light. I literally feel light. I feel like that's the best way to express it. I feel like I like, the way that I conduct myself as far as my energy, as far as my level of patience with it, because that's another thing you learn throughout the whole juicing process. It's kind of like you learn patience because every time that I feel like, oh my God, I smell this. So the whole point I'm doing, I'm like, you know what? I want to stop when I stop craving everything. But good, thank God for me, the only thing I crave is good food because I want guacamole.
What if someone's like, well, this is gonna drive you to the other side. This is so extreme. You're gonna be eating
Yes.
KFC or this and this. Like, do you think there's a chance
No,
for
I'm
that? Or
done with
like,
that life. Okay, I'm gonna say it on your channel. I am done with that life. I'm gonna change my life to raw. I'm done now. Whether it's high raw, whether it's low raw, I'm going raw. But as far as the whole KFC, I'm done with that life. Like I'm done. I'm finished. I'm leaving the
yeah,
old
I
world
can't
behind.
see
I'm
you going
leaving the
back.
world.
I think you're right. I think you're gonna stay on track. And my viewers are excited to see you stay on track. They all know you. They have a lot of questions. So let me pick some of the best ones. They're all amazing, but I'll pick a few. And before I get into those, I want to ask because people might wonder, are you drinking water too? And have you had any herbs? Are you doing any herbs or no?
Nothing, nothing. But I do get sea moss sometimes and put that in the mix. Like I go once a
Mm,
week and get some sea moss. And I did go to a hike where one of the brothers was selling a juice with sea moss in there. I did consume that. I
hmm
haven't had any herbs, any tea, any coffee, any beer, any alcohol. But like 5 days ago, I started drinking kombucha,
Kombucha?
kombucha, kombucha. I started drinking that. So that for the last couple of days, I've been drinking kombucha. So I find them on sale at not Whole Food, at Costco. I bought like a couple cases, so I've been drinking that. And yes, I do drink water after 5 p.m. I mean, I can drink it
That's right.
anytime,
Yeah.
but
Kombucha is
I
good.
consume once I'm done with my juices. Then I don't. I try not to consume anything that's gonna put weight or some kind of sugar flavor. So after 5, after 6 o'clock, once the family eats dinner, I just drink water from then on.
Okay, cool. And okay, we talked about the juices. And okay, was there a detox crisis? That's a good question. I don't think we covered that. And how long was it? And I want to ask you too, how long did it take you to feel good?
The first 2 weeks was the hardest. The detox part, I think, happens on the first 2 weeks. I have these big little pussy things, just kind of like a pus, like a zit,
Mhm.
huge. I'm talking about the size of a thumb or something. And when I squeezed it, it was nothing but yellow pus that came out. That was the first week. So I knew it was a sign of detox because I fasted before. Because I've been fasting, I've done the water fast, and every Ramadan, although I am Christian based, my families are Christian based, but every Ramadan, just like the Islam brothers, I always fast for the last 5, 6 years. So I take the whole month. I don't eat nothing in the morning. I wait for the whole day and I eat at night. So every Ramadan, I lose 20 pounds. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of familiar with the whole intermittent, with the whole fasting. But as soon as I saw that pus, I knew it was a symptom of detox. But the most important detox wasn't even food. It was the mind, like I said. It was me trying to detach myself from the places that I go, the people I frequent, the food that I eat. Because a lot of people think when you're
Mm,
fasting, it's simply about food, like you're trying to refrain from food. But if you stay away from the food, because food is a connection between us people, society is built around food. Name one event that you go to that don't include food. Name one. You
I
can't even
know.
think of it. Even funerals.
True.
Even funerals.
True.
So our human experience is based around food. So now once you take that out, it's kind of like you saying, hey, you don't want to be part of this. But
Yeah.
thank God for me, I have a family, I have a surrounding that understand the assignment. They understood the assignment. So they didn't punish me too much as far as that. But the detox part was most importantly from the societal pressure, from you having to hear, what about protein? What about the herbs? Did you take this? Did you take that? Did you muscle loss? Like, what about loose skin? People ask me about loose skin. And what are you gonna do? Did you lose muscle? I was like, I never had any muscles in the first place. It was just fat. It was just never had any, and you know. But you know, the most important part is the detox from the societal aspect of the food culture.
hmm And did you have any addictions before? Because I find it interesting. A lot of people I interview, some of them had bad addictions with like drinking or smoking before. And then they found like once they got into the juice cleanse, they just felt so good. And it was an easy like route to drop those habits. And then I see a lot of people who've actually stayed off of them now, like years later since the juice fast. So did you drink or smoke or like anything that was a bad habit before or no?
I've never, I have never been a big drinker. Like I'm a person who drinks socially. Like even if I have drinks at the house, they would stay years. I would never touch them.
Mm,
I've never been a big drinker. But if I go to a party, a barbecue, I know my limits. I would drink a few beer, and I know my limits. But I've always been that type when it comes to drinking. But as far as smoking, I was on marijuana and then a pack of cigarettes a day. Not before the fast because I've been trying to stray away from that for a long time. So when COVID started, I believe in 2021, I told myself like, oh man, I'm just wasting money. I could be doing something else. So that was the transition. I was trying to change my life. But when the fast started, no, I wasn't smoking at that time. I wasn't drinking because I've been trying to stray away from that path for the longest. And I managed to start the fast without smoking. So when the fast started, I was not addicted, I would say, to anything except food.
Okay. And there might be lots of people out there watching thinking like, I want to get here, maybe not necessarily this long even. Say they just want to start their first juice cleanse or do like 3 days or 7 days. And they're like, okay, I can set my mind to it. But then things come up and it's so easy to get tempted and give into those cravings. So like any tips for people to reach their goal and to not give in to like those societal pressures or those cravings for the foods that are so addictive that we're used to, right?
I would say for you to reach the goal, it can be like a quick fix. You got to make it like a constant lifestyle change, and you got to think that there is no failure. Because I know a lot of people who fast, they telling people you got to do this because our wills are not the same. I might have the will to do 173 days. Just because somebody do 30 days don't make me any better than you. So I would say the first thing I would do, start with replacing your breakfast. It's turtle steps. It's kind of like going to the gym, building a muscle. You don't go to the gym and put 5,000 pounds. If you see a guy with a six pack, with a chest pack, like going crazy, don't think this guy just got here and he just built super muscles.
True.
And he applied himself to build that. So if you see somebody who's fasting, who's doing a raw diet, like me, like myself, you don't know. I told you the story of my failure. So meaning for the last 5 years, I've been failing. Like I started a 40-day water fast and I gained all the way back. That's the story of my failure. That's why I started like that. So I don't want somebody to think just because you wanted to do 3 days, you do 1.5 and you're going to kill yourself. You're going to beat yourself up. No, next week, start again. Replace your breakfast. My advice for you, although the contract is with yourself, but respect yourself to the point that you recognize your failure and then you're willing to pick back up where you started. So yes, you fell. Okay, you fell. It was against you. You wasn't betting with me. It wasn't you disrespecting anybody else. You fell. Okay, I get it. Let's start again next week. Replace your breakfast. That's the only thing. Replace your breakfast. A lot of people say it's expensive. My bacon, egg, and cheese used to cost me $9 in the morning with a bagel. So now I spend $15 for the whole day on juice. It's not too expensive. And I always tell people it's better to pay the farmer than to pay big pharma. I hope that didn't go over your head. It's better to pay the farmer than to pay big pharma because big pharma comes with a price. You pay the farmer, you get exactly what you want. But big pharma, I don't even got to tell you, we know what you get.
Well said. I love it. Okay. And somebody has a great question. What are the mistakes to avoid for beginners?
The mistakes to avoid is stay away from places that's going to become a temptation from you. That's it. I can't say it any simpler. If you know that your relationship with someone, you and that person share a smoking habit and you want to quit smoking, if that person, you may have to stay away from them to not smoke, that's what you got to do. If you know you and that friend, every time you link up, it's going to be glizzies, hot dogs, ribs, like your relationship is built around that. You go drink, you go smoke together, you might have to stay away from that person. And the same thing with places. There are places that you go that's going to encourage, that's going to remind you of those behaviors. So a lot of times the fasting itself, it's not just with you, but it's with the places, the relationships that you have with people and places. So you may have to fast from relationships, from places, for you to stay away from those habits, because those habits come with different colors that are associated with the places and the people that are attached to them.
Yeah. And sometimes you really realize, like, when you get clean and healthy, you sometimes really realize those relationships had nothing in common except just bonding over those substances and those foods and those, like, the
That's why
wine. Yeah.
that's why I say you cut the meat, because now you know what's important. Because now, okay, I take the food out and you're not my friend anymore. So I know we weren't friends in the first place. Just because I don't eat burgers anymore and we ain't cool no more.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
come on. You mean to tell me my whole relationship with you was based on food to the point where if I don't eat, now we can't even talk? So now I know that when
There's
I go
nothing
to a
there then.
place, there was nothing there. Because if I take the food out, if I take the weed out, if I take the liquor out, and then we can't even have a conversation about life, about kids, about future, about business, nothing. So I know now the fasting helped me. It's like a triage. It's like, okay, we're going to pick the most important things for us because that was based around weed. that was based around girls, that was based around party, and it helps you select, it helps you stay focused because now you know what's important.
I love that. And somebody said, where was it? How has it changed your perspective on life? I like that question.
My perspective on life, I think, changed. I think we have been miseducated when it comes to food. And I'm only saying that not to go against the medical community, but I think we have been miseducated as far as what we think nutrition is. Ever since I was a kid, I was always told that food is not just food as far as the physical food. Like the conversation we've been having since we've been talking, I've been feeding off of that. Did you give me any food?
Mm-hmm.
Did you give me any food? No, but we've been feeding on each other since we got here. So that means what we've been told food was is not really what it was, because I have proven to people that I can stay without food for 173 days. So for the people who say it can't be done, with integrity, clarity, and my whole self on all social platforms, I'm showing you I've done it. And I've seen this interview you did with Bobby. You can eat on watermelons for 200 days and you're still alive. These people are flourishing. So we've been told something about food that this community, especially the groups that you are interviewing, is showing everybody that, hey, you guys may have had it wrong. You need to look into it again, because you're telling people they have to eat 20 million times a day, and they have to eat this type of food pyramid in order to be healthy. But Roberta Michelle, Miss Berry, Bobby, this guy that just fast is showing you, hey, you can do a year without eating none of the stuff that you said that we need to survive. So the miseducation aspect, I am not in a position to scientifically elaborate on it. But as far as my personal experience, I'm saying that we've been told a lot of things that may not be true, may not be true. So that's what I have learned. Okay, a lot of stuff we based on a consumerism society. So a lot of it is promotion. And when people have good PR, they can push anything. They can tell you this is what's good for you. Just like
True.
they tell you, just like they tell you breakfast is the best meal of the day, is the best this, and everybody's stuffing their face. In the meantime, I've been drinking juice, and my weight has been stabilized, by the way. I stay in that weight even while drinking juice. It's been fluctuating from 2, 3 pounds. It never go up and never
And
go
did you
down.
say, I can't remember, I think you did, but did you say what is your weight now, if you don't mind sharing? Like I know
175.
175, yeah. Wow,
And I
that's a good
started,
weight. And you started
amen,
at so what were you before? Almost 300.
276. I started officially like 3 weeks, like a month before the fast. I weighed myself in the nurse's office at my school. I weighed myself and it was 276. So when I started the fast, I didn't have a chance to weigh myself. So my official weight that I start with is 276, because that's what I thought, since I had a measuring scale for like 2 or 3 weeks before that. So that's why I always say I started at 276, but it may have been more because I was eating like a beast. So it may have been more, but to officially put it on
Yeah.
in history, I said 276.
And look at you, if you were eating like a beast and now you got so much discipline and you got this so in control and you've had such a positive, amazing transformation, then anybody can, right?
I would say that. And a lot of people that ask me when I say this, I really mean it. Anybody can. And if you cannot, that means the will is broken. How can you say you're going to California and then somebody offer you a ride to Boston and you left? That means you weren't so strong about California. You understand what I'm saying? So if your mind is made up, so what? You going to Cali. It don't matter if the plane is late, the train is late, this pretty girl show up and be like, no, that means your mind was not made up. So the first thing, and to go back to that question, the people who ask what is the most important thing, fix your mind, get your mind right. This is about discipline. This is about
Yeah.
contract with yourself. You sign it, respect yourself. You say you love yourself. Well, when yourself say, hey, keep me without food for 2 weeks. Let's see how you do. Well, let's see how you do. You say you love yourself, right? Well, let's go.
And I know like the content we consume is really important. I know that's important for me and you, like any journey you're on, especially when you start fasting. So has that changed for you? Have there been any life-changing books or any creators that you follow that have really inspired you on this journey at this time in your life?
Yeah, it's called Miss Berry.
I love it. You're the sweetest.
It's
I'm so
called,
glad that channel helps.
yo, I'm trying to tell you that your channel has been the muse, the background music, and everything that I consume throughout both of my fasts. And even when you drop new videos now, I see it and I go and watch it. And some of them I watch twice. Every raw vegan that you may have on your channel, I consume some of them twice. So
Okay,
because
well,
my whole thing,
stop for a second. You've inspired me. I've only done this one time before, but I want to do it. I want to give you a nama. I want to give you a nama, so I'm going to gift you with the nama. I did this once before. I got inspired in California. I know this girl was trying to manifest a nama, and I want to gift you one. I'm going to pay for it myself. I'm going to ship it to you after
hold
the
on, hold on, hold
interview.
on, hold on. No,
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 we
I
gotta say,
want to. I want to give
we
you a
gotta say
gift.
this again. No, no, we gotta say this again. You're gonna do what?
I'm going to gift you a nama. I'm going to ship it to you after our interview.
Wow.
You're just, I think you're so amazing. You've inspired me. You've
Wow.
touched me.
You
So
wanna
I
know why I say
feel like,
why? You wanna know why I say why? Because we was talking about fasting and manifesting. And then now on your
and
channel,
you
you
people on
actually,
your fast, you guys do manifest because the other girl I gifted a nama
wow.
to in LA, she was on a juice fast. She was trying to manifest one. And I just feel like in my heart gifting you one. I want to. So I'll order it for you
Wow.
after the interview. And you can choose black or white or gray. And you'll love it. They have a special going on right now. It'll be over by the time this interview airs, but you get a free sorbet attachment with it too. And you can do plant milk, sorbet,
Wow.
juices. So I just feel called to do that. So I want to do it. And it
I am
comes from me.
speechless.
They're not, like, they're amazing. They're so amazing. I'm an affiliate with them. And
I
probably if
am
I
I
asked
am
them, they probably would
speechless.
like help me out. But I want to gift it to you. I'm going to gift it to you. I think you're amazing.
I am speechless right now. I don't even know what to say. I'm literally speechless, and I'm stoked. I'm speechless because I'm trying to tell you how much I associate fasting with manifesting. And I was singing on my channel that I need a nama. Nama is what I need. And I need, the song, I need $1, dollar is what I need. I changed that. I say, I need a nama. Nama is what I need. And then now, look, this
No,
is
you got it.
crazy.
You got it. You need one. You need one. You
This is
deserve one. You made this.
crazy.
And even when the juice fast ends, even if you choose to end the juice fast in 3 days or whatever days, by the time this interview's out, I don't know when, then it's even like you'll use it for your green juices, your nut milks on your raw diet, your
I will never
sorbets,
stop juicing.
because you're gonna
I
go
will never
raw.
stop juicing.
Yeah.
I will never
So
stop because my breakfast is going to consist of juice.
yeah.
So every
Good.
morning, well, let me say thank you in advance. I greatly appreciate it. But like I tell you, your channel is so inspiring. I think like you present people with an opportunity to tell their story. And I watch the people you interview. I don't think you focus on any other aspect but what the health and the health question, because you have everybody on there. You have men, you have women, you have all
Yeah.
types of people on your stuff. You're not somebody like who's biased. You don't
No.
have an agenda,
No.
and you present what the person has to say. So
Yeah.
you kind of like an outlet. You kind of like a medium. And I think you're doing a phenomenal job. Your channel is gonna be a staple for that community, for the raw, for the juice community, for the health community. Your channel it represents so much, because when people say, hey, you gotta be on Barry's channel, you gotta be on Barry's channel, I'm like, well, send a message to her. And then now for me to be on it, to get gifted a juicer, like this is beyond what words can express.
You
So thank you
deserve
in
it.
advance.
You deserve it. And it's just my way of saying thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing. And it's my kind of way of saying, like, I wish you the best going forward too, because you can use it even after this juice cleanse for like your
I
plant-based
will.
milks, your juices. Because even when you're not juice cleansing, it's good, like I said, to have like a green juice a day or whatever you want to have a day.
Amen.
And your natural sorbets, because like we don't need all these ice creams that are loaded with all this crap and all this dairy and all this gunk. So it'll be good. So I'm really happy. I'm excited to do that. And somebody was saying, how long did it take for you to start to feel like you had high vibe energy? I think it was about 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks, 2 week marks, two
Yeah.
weeks.
And somebody said, tell Roberto, somebody said, what up, Zoe?
What up, Zoe? Zoe is a little name for the Haitians. So
Okay,
for
I
the
love
people
it.
you in Florida now, so you're gonna meet a lot of Zoes, because the Zoes originate from Florida. So anytime they see this flag, they know the Zoes in the building. What up, Zoes?
I love that. That's awesome. And yeah, so when we do our next one after your Raw, you're in New Jersey, right? I love to go to New York. So
Yes.
we should do that one in person in the studio there.
Man, I can meet you in Florida. I can come to New York, or you can meet
Yeah.
me in Jersey.
Yeah, you know
Listen,
what's great about this move to Miami? I have a guest house at this house. It is like so amazing. So then when if people come out to do a podcast, I set it up all cute so that people can stay there. So you can always stay here. You're always welcome.
Oh man, oh man, you're making me too happy today.
Oh,
This
good.
is
I'm
excitement.
happy.
This
I'm
is excitement.
glad. And somebody said, "Oh, did you have the urge?" We're almost wrapping up, just a couple more. Did you have the urge to chew something? So believe it or not, that's a big thing too. People think like, I don't know if I can do it because I can't stand not chewing. I don't know if you've heard that, but I actually hear that all the time. People think they can't do it because they like need to chew. They think they'll go crazy like I need to chew. I miss chewing. Has that been an experience for
The
you?
last few days, I missed the taste of salt. Not chewing
Mm.
like the mechanical part of it, but I missed the taste of salt. But that's only been the last 2 weeks. So it's kind of like maybe it's from me cooking for my family and watching them eat. Maybe it's stemming from all that, but I miss the salty taste.
Hmm.
Because when you're doing the juice fast, the sugar, the veggie, you get all the sour, the citrus, you get everything, but the salt, you don't get that. So that's the only thing. But as far as the mechanical chew, like the motion of it, you don't really miss that. My mother say you got to make movements with your mouth because you
Hmm.
don't want to lose motion when you start again. So I
Yeah.
kind of like do in the morning, but I I don't miss that. No.
And somebody said, did you have any emotional detox? I actually do interview a lot of men and women who experience emotional detox. Things come up on these cleanses where maybe traumas from the past and you just feel like overwhelmingly emotional or like have you had any of that? Or even if you don't want to talk about that, that's okay too.
Yes, but I don't know if I can say that on your channel, but the answer is hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you can.
The
I think it's
first two
safe.
weeks, the
Yeah.
first 2 weeks is when you go through all the emotional detox. Before you get to the high, to the cruising part, the first 2 weeks, that's when you cry. And then after you cry, you'd be like, what the heck was that? It's like you don't know what's going on. If somebody, punch you in the face when you was 5, that's when you think about that.
Mm,
I had a teacher who would tell me I would never be nothing. I thought about that and started crying. You think about like all the failures that you have, things that you're trying to accomplish, things you work hard on. You think about failed relationship, your exes. It's kind of like it's almost like a revision of your life. You're going through the timeline, and there are certain aspects that it almost drives you crazy because life is about good and bad. So you go through some good pictures, and then when you go to the bad ones, it actually more magnified. So whatever emotion was charged in that particular aspect, you get to feel it at that moment, and then you do cry. And to me, after I finished crying, then when I realized, like, man, I'm not even in the past no more. I'm in the present, and I start laughing, and then I bring myself back to the
mm,
present. But the first 2 weeks is when you go through the roller coaster of the emotions. It's kind of like you thinking about, and then what it does for me at that time, I take charge, I take responsibility
mm-hmm,
because throughout the fast, it's not always people who's done things to you. Sometimes it's you doing things to people.
mm-hmm.
So sometimes that fast bring a little level of honesty because when the drama happens, a lot of times a lot of people don't want to take responsibility. It's always like, oh, somebody did this to me. Somebody's always the victim.
Mm.
But the fast actually put a mirror in front of your face, and if you honest, you will see that it's not all the time that it was somebody doing something to you. Sometimes it was you who was doing something to yourself or to somebody else.
And it's good
But
because
I know
then you
there
get that awareness, right? And then you have that
the
awareness and then
awareness part,
yeah, then
the
you take that
awareness
with
part.
you. You can go through it, you can change, and hopefully it sticks with you
But
after the fast.
but you have to be honest about it because I noticed that a lot of people saying, I'm just healing, I'm healing. It's almost like somebody's always doing something to them. No, a lot of times in situations, I've done a lot of things to people I'm not proud of. So when that pops up on my mind for the first 2 weeks, how do you think I feel? I feel shame. I feel guilt. I feel apologetic. So the cry, it doesn't necessarily mean something that was done to me. Sometimes it's like, man, I can't believe I've done that. I can't
Mhm.
believe I've done that. And then you wish like, because it's kind of like you become conscious now. You become conscious because like I tell you, the less energy you have, the more you're going to focus it on what's important.
Mm, I love
The more
that.
you're going
That's
to
so
focus on what's important.
true. I've never heard anyone really put it like that, like you did in this interview, and it's really true. Well, this has been amazing. I think you're awesome, super incredible. I loved hearing your experience. I think you're funny, and I think you just really blessed us with A great story, a lot of great inspiring pieces. And I just want to ask, is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we end off? Any other words you're called to share? Anything else you feel you want to share with somebody watching? And of course, let everybody know where they can follow you. Your social media is really inspiring. So I'll link everything down below as well.
Yes, the only thing I would say to people is get out of it. And what do I mean by that? A lot of us want to be in the victim mentality. We want to stay in a place where depression is killing us, and then you thinking you healing. But healing means you coming from here and then you going there. Don't make that transition too long. A lot of people saying is the journey, they use that as an excuse to stay on the path of recovery so they can have somebody to complain to. No, as fast as you can, go from not being good to good. If you know smoking is bad for your health, don't say I'm gonna just smoke one a day and then I'm on my way. God is not done with me yet. Those are conversations of losers. Stop that and get over here. You feeling depressed? Well, there's happiness over here. You feeling unhealthy? There is health over here. Don't that transition from unhealthy to healthy. Don't say, hey, but I got to process. I got to take it easy. Fool, what? If somebody had a lighter in your hands and then it's burning you, would you say, hey, I'll stay barbecued for a few minutes before I move to somewhere of comfort? You would not say that. So why is it when it's time to go from discomfort, unhealthy, dysfunction, nonsense, to go to where life is good, beautiful, laughter, health, you saying, hey, I'm just transitioning. So the message I would give to your audience, don't spend too much time on the transition. Now, I understand not everybody can do everything cold turkey. Not everybody has a will of steel. I get that. But if you're not happy where you are, understand that it's a state and happiness does exist. So leave the state of unhappiness and then do anything you can to go to the state of happiness. There are a lot of people on your channel that I witness that leave that state and go over there and go to that new state. But there's still a lot of people trying to convince me, oh, I'm still transitioning. I don't think I can do this. I wish I had a will like yours. Well, listen, I've done it in front of you for 173 days. I document everything. What makes you think I'm better than you? You can do it too. Make up your mind. Say you want health, and the universe is going to take you from unhealthy to healthy. It's going to take you from heavy, overweight, obese to fit. It's going to take you from broke to realize. It's going to take you from not achieving nothing to making things happen. Because me being on your channel right now is part of the manifestation. Me getting a NAMA is part of the manifestation.
Yeah.
Okay, so technically I'm watching my dream unfold on a juice fast. So who am I to tell somebody else like you can't do this? My goal is always to tell you like, yo, I'm just like you. You can do it. You can do it. If I watch Miss Berry do a YouTube channel that's popular, that's getting traction, that you're making amazing moves, you're producing great content, I can only use that as motivation. I can only see, oh my God, yo, she's doing this. Like, yo, this is beautiful. This is amazing. But don't spend too much on the, I wish I could do this, to the point where you do it. Go from, I wish I could do it, you got to do your homework. Whatever you do, transition real quick. Don't spend too much time on the losing side. And you can win. That's the message.
Well said. I love that. Well, this is amazing. Thanks for coming on. And I can't wait to see where you end up. So everybody go follow down below. I'll link your social media down below so everybody can find you. And we'll bring you back. So subscribe, everybody. We'll bring you back with an interview live in New York at one of the podcast studios there. And I will put the Scott Bernhard interview on the screen right now, the one you were talking about, who
Scott Bernhard, that's
you.
my Jamaican brethren with the six-pack.
Yeah, and that is such a good interview too. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's so good. And this is one of my favorite juicing ones. It's been so awesome. So everybody subscribe, go follow Roberto. I'll put everything down below. We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Have a blessed day, guys. Juices.